Hello, everyone.
Good morning or afternoon or evening.
It's about to flash flood here.
We're nice and cozy.
I'm actually really excited about. I love the rain.
Have a lot of soup on your radar.
Okay, I love soup. I think soup is so fun and easy and delicious. Natasha sent me this clip and it's me.
Josh guy. And
Why does soup kind of slap when we're older?
He's like, when you're in your 30s, what is it about soup that slaps?
It literally does slap.
I was like, is this you?
So today I am going to talk through my anticlimactic birth story.
I wouldn't call it anticlimactic.
Okay, when I say anticlimactic, I mean that if you were to look at what I wanted from my birth in terms of outcomes and like most of my checklist, it happened. And I feel very lucky for that.
Your plan A.
My plan.
Okay.
It could have gone so many different ways.
Yeah.
Especially because I opted to give birth at a birth center and I could have been transferred. And I was the only birth out of the 2 weeks around my due date that was not transferred.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. This is just so interesting to me because I have given birth at hospitals. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening, we're going to talk about Taylor's birth center birth today. And I'm so curious about all of the things.
I checked on their transfer rate and there is a difference between emergency transfer versus transfer because just extra precaution. Okay. Or mom decides she wants something else and like can't, which she's like
never mind.
Which like now that I've done it, I get. Yeah.
Totally. Now that I've done it and didn't want it, agree.
Yes. So my midwife right now that I've been talking to has a 5% transfer, and she said she's never done a medical emergency transfer.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
That is kind of
she was a nurse at a hospital here in San Diego for a while before she became a midwife and practiced in the hospital as a midwife and then became a home birth midwife. Anyway, I opted for a birth center that was 7 minutes from my house because I just had heard really good things about it and I took a tour and I really liked it. The birth center that I went into offered free prenatal yoga as a part of the package. They had an acupuncturist on site. Oh. They had a childbirth education class that was 8 weeks that was included. They had IBCLCs on staff. So you get a package and community. So I met a ton of women going through the same stage as me. But yeah, I found this birth center and the birth center required us to have a doula. Mm-hmm. So my mom, who was a doula for 25 years, I cheated and used her instead of hiring one. And so she came 2 weeks before my due date.
Which was kind of cutting it close.
It was cutting it close.
Right? Like for you specifically.
I want to say maybe it was more like 37 weeks she came.
I remember
37 and a half.
When this was happening and you're like, my mom's coming this weekend. And I remember looking at you and being like, good.
Yeah. I know.
Like you look cooked.
I was so ready. Like everyone is so ready by 37
totally
weeks.
Not the second time. I'll tell you right now. The second time I was like, stay in as long as you obviously uncomfortable. I'm like ready to not be pregnant anymore. But I was like, you just keep on cooking, little one. Because I am not ready. I was not ready. Yeah. Maybe that's just a me thing. But
yeah, we'll see how I feel about this one. So that's why I wanted to tell the story today, because similar to how we did Natasha's birth story for her second baby around her first birthday, my next baby is due in a few months. And so it's a good time for me to reflect and think about what happened and why I'm doing things a little different this time and what I'm afraid of this time because of the first time and all of those things. My midwife said something to me the other day. I was like, you know what? I have a lot of fear for my second birth. And it's funny because I had zero fear my first birth. I think growing up in a childbirth education family and I had been to home births and been to my sister's home birth and all this stuff, birth to me was so beautiful and like not scary at all. And I had far more fear of being transferred and going to the hospital. So I had all these different, still valid fears, but different fears than what usually people are afraid of. Like I wasn't afraid of the pain. I felt like I could do it, no problem. Now that I know.
Which you could, and you did.
Which I could. But now that I know, I was telling her I have a lot of fears now because I know how intense it is. And she was like, I have never had a second client come in and not be more afraid the second time. She was like, the first time you give birth, you're oblivious. You don't have as much respect for birth and how powerful it is and how hard it is. And so this is you just respecting birth more and knowing how much respect you have to have for it.
And we've kind of talked about this in pregnancy before, and how like our first pregnancies were like different too. And like for me, I went into it like, la la la, I'm pregnant. What could go wrong? You know, and then the second time, once you know more people who have been pregnant, who have had complications, all of these things, there's more fear around it. So it's sort of similar.
Yeah.
You know what's coming, and you've been exposed to more stories, and you're kind of more in that world. And so you know, like, what's coming for you.
So I think even today, just sitting down and reflecting, it is important. It sounds so woo-woo, but I mean, there's a reason there's birth circles and why people talk about this.
We talk about this in lactation all the time in my like courses and in school that I'm in, and every lactation consultant will tell you, like, on the first visit after a mom gives birth, a lot of times, like, we barely talk about lactation. Yeah. We just talk about the birth. Like, people have to talk through their birth story and like process what happened in their birth before they can move on to other things. You have to kind of sort through all of that before you can, especially when it's so fresh. Yeah. But even like, I think, like you said, like, having a therapeutic experience about it years later still, and like having the perspective of your son being 2 and like you being pregnant again, like I think even talking about it again from that lens is also very therapeutic and important to just like process through.
Yeah. And also I know as a childbirth educator how much fear plays in how your birth goes.
Right.
Because cortisol and catecholamines, like all of these hormones that happen when you are stressed and when you are fearful, impact labor. They stall labor. So I am very adamant about facing those fears and like talking about them. So anyway, let's get into it.
Yes, get into it.
Let's
hear about it.
So my mom arrived at like 37 and a half weeks. I started doing everything really. I did the dates, which actually...
At 37?
At like 37 and a half or so. I waited for my mom to get there because I was like,
right.
And also it's not like I was like going hard. No. I wasn't like having sex every second with nipple stimulation. Oh my God. I wasn't like, I was just prepping my body.
Yeah.
So I was doing curb walking, just long walks, like getting really active. Eating the dates, which actually there is some data on that.
I believe in the dates.
Yes. I don't like dates, but I ate them. And I did the raspberry leaf tea, which is more about prepping your uterus, but still I did that.
I believe in all that stuff.
At 38 weeks and 5 days, I went to like a little beach cove by my house with a good friend of mine. And I was like, I'm going to do a polar plunge and kick this baby out. And I literally said that jokingly, like thinking there's no way that that's actually going to happen. This was at like 5 p.m. and my mom was making me chili to like put in the freezer. And like we were cooking together like a full week ahead. I'm like, okay, I can't.
You guys prepping all these meals.
We prepped so many meals. Honestly, I ate all of them.
Yeah.
But it was like a week of cooking stews, soups, chilies. My husband's like, can you guys like calm down? We had a factory.
Totally.
We had a factory. So many lactation cookies. Anyway, it's like I was so ready. I'm like, I can't bake another thing. So I went to the beach and I did a polar plunge, came back, ate some of the chili.
Can we just call out that like this is like mid-July, so like a polar plunge
in California? Are you kidding? As someone who doesn't go in the water because it's too cold even in July, I'm calling you out. It could be a scalding hot day. I'm sweating my ass off, and I've never seen Natasha go in the ocean, like not once.
Okay, but I never said it was a polar plunge. I'm just saying it was probably 68 degrees.
Well, first of all, you can't actually polar plunge while you're pregnant. Like, do not go in an ice bath.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
So what I mean by polar plunge is I jumped in the frigid California water.
Right.
In the summer. So anyway, I did that and I came back, ate some dinner. I went to bed around like 8:30. I woke up at 9:30 p.m. just like, I have to pee. I halfway got up and just gush everywhere. Thought I peed myself, but it was obviously my water break. That was a crazy feeling to me, especially because when I'm teaching people, I always say like, it doesn't happen like in the movies.
Right.
It's not It's actually like rare for.
Yeah, isn't it like 10% of women, their water breaks like that?
Yeah. I'm like, it probably won't happen.
Right.
And then like
to you?
I got up and it was just like shoom, like
my gosh.
crazy, full bed soaked.
Wow.
And my midwives gave me those little strips where you can like test to make sure it's amniotic fluid.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So I tested it. It also makes sure.
In case you're like worried it's pee.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically it's a test strip and then there's strips of different colors. And depending what color it is, it's like meconium could be in it or not. And then you're supposed to smell it too and make sure it doesn't smell bad. So that happened. And then my typical midwife response was, okay, go back to bed.
Yeah.
And like, obviously I know, and she knew that within 24 hours, baby had to come or else risk of infection and stuff like that. Right. But 24 hours is a long time. Yeah. Like a lot can happen. I did not have a first contraction. I had nothing.
You didn't feel any contractions?
Nothing. My labor started in the movies with just my water breaking.
Like surprise,
water breaks,
and then you started getting contractions?
Surprise. So I laid down being like, okay, my water broke. I'm going to go back to bed. So we cleaned the bed, got new sheets on, and then I laid down and immediately 10 minutes later was like, what the hell was that?
Oh my God.
And it was just like a super strong, crazy contraction. And that's when I was like, okay, everyone has early labor, right? Yeah. Like usually. So, and again, that's something I teach. Right. Usually you'll have.
You're like, what do I know about this?
I think it was like my whole birth story was like the world laughing at me being like, you're going to have the opposite of what people usually have.
Right.
Anyway.
So funny.
Like usually first labors can last days, but like it's not always intense contractions. So I had an immediate strong contraction, was like, I'm going to try to go back to bed because as I know, like this could be really drawn out. Literally 5 minutes later, immediate strong contraction. I was like, I'm not sleeping. Woke up my mom. Yeah. Because she had been sleeping and got.
This is like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 p.m. Got my husband on the contraction apps. And he started timing them and it was like, okay, 5 minutes apart, 6 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart, 8 minutes apart. Like it wasn't totally consistent, but it was very close together.
I mean, that's
for the first contraction.
Consistent.
Yes. But like, it wasn't the 5-5-5 yet.
Sure. But like also 5-5-5, like your body isn't like
so
robot.
So this is funny. Like hospitals will tell you 5-5-5. Midwives will say 3-3-3. Yeah. They're like, don't come in till you're like wobbling, mooing like a cow on your hands and knees. So like I knew it wasn't time yet.
Yeah. But you were like,
but I was suffering. Yeah. I was immediate,
and you were in
like
pain.
Immediate pain.
Yeah.
So that was a little
shocking.
That
is like when you're in pain, like I remember the first time being like, was that pain? And then like once you're in pain, you're like, oh.
It was immediate. I remember being very shocked about that and being like, okay, like all my early labor, like comfort measures are out the window.
Yeah, that's not.
Like totally out the window.
Right. Like what are early labor comfort measures?
So.
Like just like a few.
Just general. A few. Like I would say one that people use a lot is like the slow dancing. Yeah. And I will say my husband and I tried that and my mom took a really funny video of us trying to do that. And I was, oh my God, I need to like post it. I was like mooing already.
You're like, this is an early labor.
I was like barely hanging on to him. Like, I don't think this is working.
Well, because you weren't in early labor. Like,
no, I wasn't.
Early labor for you, but you weren't in that like early. Like, is this pain? Is this just like crampy?
No, for a few hours, this kept going on, and I called her and I was like, I really think this is the real deal. Yeah. And even she was like, let's give it a few more hours, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I did that from 10 or so until maybe 4 a.m.
Oh my God.
At home.
Oh my God.
But it was getting more and more like I started not realizing where I was. Yeah. I kind of blacked out for that time. The only reason I know shit went down is because my mom has some funny like footage from it. But it was me like on my hands and knees, my husband timing contractions, us being like, okay, like shit's getting real. And then I remember just hitting a point where I was like, this baby is either coming right now or like I need to get to the birth center. Like this is happening. Yeah. So my midwife and I stayed on the phone together for 30 minutes while she listened to my contractions and was like, yeah, I'm packing my bag. Like I'll see you. Yeah. Like they can tell, they can hear it. Yeah,
of course.
So
I remember that being on the phone and then being like, okay, see you soon. We're ready for you.
I remember getting to the center and it's like 5 a.m. at this point. Yeah. So like people are getting up. Yeah. Like I see people on the street with like their coffee and I get to the center. First of all, the birth center is a 7-minute drive from my house. That felt like 70 years. Yeah. I was like holding on to the thing. I was telling my husband and my mom pull over. I made them pull over maybe 3 or 4 times within 7 minutes because I was so in active labor at this point that I was like,
I can't be in the car.
I literally cannot be in the car. And honestly, I give so many props to everyone who's experienced active labor in the car because it's like,
I just got the chills.
It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I always would tell people, you know, like, this is what you want to do. You want to wait until you're in active labor because you don't want to arrive at the hospital and you're in early labor and you're like, they either turn you around or
you're in triage
or you're in this like stressful car environment and your labor gets stalled. Yeah. And like that happens a lot.
Or in triage or in a waiting room.
Yeah.
Sitting there like,
exactly. You want to arrive when you're at the point where you're in excruciating pain, which is what I did. Yeah. But yeah, the fact I pulled over multiple times in a 7-minute car ride is just like, that's how bad it felt.
Sitting in a seat in active labor is like not it.
No, I wasn't. I was like hosting myself up. I got to the birth center. People are already waking up around the neighborhood. It's in this little quiet neighborhood. My midwife isn't there yet, so it's all locked. And I'm standing outside like with my hands on the doors, just being like, and someone's like walking their dog past me with their coffee, like, whoa, like what is happening? Like what? My husband's like like I was like in my own world, like what is happening?
Oh my God.
She arrived like 10 minutes after me, thank God, but like is setting stuff up, like getting everything ready, and I like go straight into the room. And
can I just say, if you live next to a birth center, like just look away, okay?
buckle up. And I think about this all the time. Like now that I'm planning a home birth, I'm like, I might tell my neighbors.
Yes.
Anyway,
you're like, there's not
I'm not dying over here.
It's not a
I don't have a weird cow in my house. I promise.
It's literally like an angry cow sound.
It's an angry low cow sound. It's not screaming at all. Yeah.
There's something connected between
guttural.
It's guttural.
It comes from your pelvis.
It's not like like it, no.
It's unlike anything.
No, it's an out of body experience.
It's crazy. I was like, is that me?
That's what I mean. Like you're like looking up from above being like, who the fuck is making that noise?
It's crazy. Got to the center. It's like, it's past 5 a.m. right? And we get in the room. She fills up the tub, like in case I want to use it. At this point, I feel like I was just so out of my body. I remember contractions being more like 3 or 4 minutes apart. I remember just being in the bathtub. I tried the bath thing. It wasn't for me. I felt like I was like floating and that I couldn't like ground myself. Yeah. I count myself as a little like hippie and like whatever. And I feel like water births are so like, ooh, and like they seem so glamorous. Yeah. And like, I was like, this is so disorienting. I'm a land mammal. I need to like be on land.
Totally.
I learned that about myself.
So did you feel like the water though helped the pain?
Yes. It was distracting.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. So what I will say is like during the contraction, I remember feeling like, ooh, like I was holding on to the edge, trying to like hold on to something. But then between the contractions, which wasn't that long, I remember like leaning back and like feeling really good in the water, like really relaxed. Like it felt like it gave me a really relaxing break. Okay. For a few minutes. All right. So that was nice.
The water thing does
help. Yes. Like a floating experience is so great for relaxation, but maybe not for like with undergoing an intense contraction. Yeah. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's almost like I wish I was in there for the.
It's like I need like a bar above it.
Yes.
To be like hovering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I get that though, because I remember being like gripping onto something like a wild animal.
I also was never totally sold on him being, or I didn't know it was a he at this point, but I wasn't totally sold on them being born underwater.
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted it for labor, but I had always told my midwife I kind of want to get out when it's game time. I reached a certain point, like an hour later, I was in the tub and I looked at my midwife and I was like, my body is pushing without me, like deciding to, like, does that mean it's time to push? He was like, if your body's telling you it's time to push, it's time to push.
So you did no cervical checks or anything to see how dilated a face? Nothing.
No.
We're just listening to your body.
I loved her response because it was like, yeah, like, don't ask me. And like trusting me and trusting what I felt about my body, because it's just crazy. My body was just starting to do it. And I was like, is that okay? And she's like, yeah.
It's one of those things though, when you're in that much pain and like all you can think about is like right here, right now, like what's happening in your body, where you realize like, oh, I can actually trust myself if I block out all the other noise.
Yes.
Like my body knows what to do. My brain, everything's connected. If you just, like, you're forced to focus on just that, you actually like have it.
Yeah.
In you.
And it honestly felt painful to not push. It felt like my body was like trying so hard to like evacuate this baby. And I was like, oh my God, like I either have to push or like hold him in.
Like it's happening.
So that was crazy. And then the minute she confirmed, like, go for it, do whatever your body's telling you to do, that's when I get out of the tub. Because I was like, I don't want to be pushing in the tub. It just doesn't feel good to me. So I got out and I was on my hands and knees. And this is when I feel like I lost all like sense of what was going on. I for sure was on all hands and knees, naked,
just
butt naked, just crawling on the ground. At this point, I'm like, I wonder, I like don't even look in the eye of my husband. I'm like, I don't even know what this man is thinking right now. He's like, who is my wife? Like, what does she get me into?
It is feral.
It's so feral. And also, can I just say, most people are in like a hospital gown and they're like in a bed and it's not, this was like, I can't even tell you how primal I look.
It's National Geographic.
It's National Geographic. I am like a monkey giving birth in the wild. It was just crawling on the floor, wet from the tub, crawling. And I know, and this is TMI, and I probably won't post this in a clip. I know I pooped, and my midwife was there cleaning, disinfecting as I crawled. And I did not give up.
Of course not.
It did not even cross my mind. I just felt myself pushing. So I didn't even really know that was happening, which, by the way, it's common. Don't freaking worry about it. It happens. Like, whatever.
It's none of my business.
I've gone asked that in a class that I taught. They were like, am I going to poop? And I was like, maybe. And don't worry about it. It's human. You're pushing.
It's the least of your worries.
Yes.
Let me just tell you.
It was the least of mine.
Nobody else will care.
I was aware it was happening, but it was like, that was literally the last thing on my mind. Oh my God.
Birth is so beautiful.
Birth is so beautiful. Oh my God, I'm dead. Wait, so this is really funny, but like, side note, when this specific situation was going on, my husband at the end, like I talked to him the day after or something, he was like, I was strategically going to different corners of the room so that I didn't have to see too much.
I can't believe he stuck around that long.
I think he was like really concerned and like didn't know what to do. Also, this is
the fact that he wasn't like, you guys, I'm out, is like so impressive.
Also, can I just say, like, I told him going in, like, I don't know what type of person I'm gonna be, like, if I want you to massage me or like hands off.
Yeah.
I'm hands off.
Yeah.
Like, he tried to help. God bless him.
I feel like I would like, my head would turn around like an exorcism and be like, don't fucking touch me.
No, my mom was trying to leave granola bars in front of my face as I crawled. I'm like, I'm not eating
granola bars.
I'm like, Mother better get that snack away from me.
Can you imagine eating? No, there's nothing. Pooping and eating.
No.
You can't even.
And this is like, sure, in early labor, I always tell people eat, hydrate, whatever.
Snack,
this is like, I'm like going through like I'm pushing.
You're literally you're in giving birth.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Your mom's like, do you want a snack?
Oh my God. I'm like, okay, this is, as a doula, you shouldn't be doing this, but it's my fault. I had a doula. That's my mom.
You're like,
so she's like, eat a snack, sweetie. Oh my God. Anyway, so I wanted everyone hands off. I really wanted to just do things my own way. After about 2 hours of this, 2 hours of pushing, that's when my midwife was like, I think we might want to consider some different positions.
And contractions are still like 3 minutes apart.
They're closer. They're
okay,
closer.
Okay.
Shit felt really real. I remember
a long time.
being exhausted and like really, really tired and sweating and sore because I couldn't move out of hands and knees. So like my arms and my legs, I just were so sore. It felt like I was like at the gym for hours.
Well, basically,
yeah, it was like running a marathon. It was crazy. She was like, we need to consider some different positions. So I tried to stand up and walk to the toilet because like sitting on the toilet is a great position for a lot of people. They're able to relax their pelvis and like
the pressure, right?
The pressure, being upright, all this stuff. I literally couldn't do it. I sat down and was just like, no.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Is like the way he was positioned. It hurt so bad.
Yeah.
I got right back down on my hands and knees, crawled back to the bed. And maybe 30 minutes went by. And at this point, 2.5 hours of pushing, she was like, okay, I think they're a little stuck. I really want to try some different positions and some maneuvering with my hands with you. Like, how do you feel about people being here? Or do you feel like they're helping you? Or do you feel like they're not helping you? I was like, get them out.
Yeah. Get
them out. I need to focus. I need this to end. I'm not pushing another hour. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
My husband's like, great, bye.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go get your burrito.
Don't gotta tell me twice.
So I think my mom was a little sad, but
she's like, whatever you want.
This is a funny side note. There was lots going on outside the center because this was at like 8:30 and a yoga class started at 8. So this is like a crazy side note, but I talked to the prenatal yoga instructor who I loved like a few days later, and she was like, we were all sending you good vibes while they're in like Shavasana. I'm like, I'm
sorry, but that's a birth center con.
No, that's a big reason I was like, no, like this is not like back in the day women would like crawl into caves and like give birth. Like I don't need a yoga class meditating to me, moaning.
They're like, help this woman have her baby.
Manifesting my birth. Anyway.
Oh my God.
But I could hear like people out there and I was like,
stop.
Oh, I look back and I'm like, that was kind of crazy.
Like specifically yoga?
Because like 10 people heard my birth.
Yeah.
Like random people that were like doing yoga.
They were probably scared.
Yeah.
They're like pregnant. Trying like. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So this was like 8:30 a.m. and
God, so no sleep.
No sleep.
Yeah.
I crawled up on the bed and I remember her being like, I'm going to need you to like try. I know it hurts really bad. And a lot of the times the thought is like, it hurts so bad, you want to push really fast. But she was like, he's stuck and it's actually better if you go slow and breathe through it because she could tell it was his cord being really tight.
Around his neck?
Around his neck.
Ugh.
And so like,
did she like reach in and feel it?
So if you go too fast, it could snap.
Yeah.
And she was really worried that it was like really short and tight. So I went really slow and pushed and she put like, I couldn't move really. So she put my right leg like all the way forward. And that's when I felt this crazy release.
Like a lunge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt this like, and I just felt the crown. Like I felt his head come out.
You felt like whatever that positioning change was, like something like locked into place so that he could come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when she discovered his cord was wrapped multiple times around his neck. He had a really tight nuchal cord. So she put like her left hand into me and held his head up, like as the head came out, held his head up so it wouldn't keep going down.
Yeah.
And somersaulted his body out so that the cord stayed up close to me and couldn't snap.
So he like came out like
she reached in, like his head was out, and she kept it up by my pelvis so that the rest of his body could come out. Like it's called the somersault technique.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So his head was out already, but it was up against my leg while she somersaulted the rest of the body out.
Wow, that cannot feel good.
And then quickly unraveled everything. And then it just felt crazy. But at this point, I felt like it was like a release. Like I felt everything releasing.
The worst was over.
Yeah, the worst was over. The pushing was like way harder to me than like when he was coming out and she was maneuvering him, because what she was doing was like releasing him. Yeah. So that was all really crazy. And then she like slid him under me on the bed and he was like looking up at me and I was like, he has balls.
Is that the first thing you said?
It's the very first thing I said to my baby because I didn't know if he was a boy or girl. Right. And I was just like, oh my God, he has balls.
Yeah.
And she was dying. She was like, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. It's a boy.
You're like, I know. He has balls. Oh my God.
But yeah, everything, thank God, was really good. And from there on, it was really great. It was like really fast after that. Like I laid down with him in the bed and she went out and got my husband. My mom was like, you guys can come back in.
Baby's here.
You have a child. So they came in.
Honestly, like the dads just are not equipped.
Well, that's something I'm doing different next time. I was like,
not equipped for the delivery room.
I was like, can you like manage our son? That's just how I feel. I want women's help.
He doesn't want to be in there.
Why do you think there's no male doulas?
Right.
Like, you know,
male lactation consultant.
Yeah, there's a reason. It's womanhood. Yeah, we like, and that's not shame. It's no shame either way. Sometimes you only feel comfortable with your husband. That's great. Totally. I feel really comfy with women.
Yeah,
and that's just like my personality.
My
and
husband
like,
just like, bless him, but he is just not cut out for that.
No, mine neither.
Like,
I don't think any are, to be honest.
Totally, and like great if they can like hold it all together.
Yeah,
to, like,
as long as they try.
As long as
and
they
then
try.
It's like, okay,
like,
you can leave.
Yeah, like just release them to do something you're good at.
Exactly.
You know, like we all have strengths here.
Exactly.
Like let's bring on women who've done it before. Like I want that generational wisdom and the like. You've got.
I
this,
agree.
You can do it. Like I don't need.
And the gentle touch. I don't know. It's just like different.
Nurturing. Yeah. And I don't want to worry about you like fainting.
Yeah. So they came back in and they like helped me with lactation. They explained like, okay, in the next 45 minutes, we want your placenta to come out. And like you have options about how you want to do that because, well, they did assessments on me and I hadn't teared or anything like that, which is like really lucky, especially considering he was stuck and like I pushed for 3 hours. And one of the options that just seemed really great to me is I sat on like one of those like birth stools that has like a circle in it because the gravity, so you don't have to like, I don't want to push. So I like held him in my arms and like sat on the stool and it just like slid out. I was like so alert and with it. The minute he came out, I was just like feeling amazing.
Yeah.
I felt tender. That's it.
Yeah. There is that like relief and like euphoria after.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think specifically if you go unmedicated.
Yes. Yeah.
Because my medicated birth, I remember once the pain meds were off, I was in so much pain that I was like, whoa, like, but when you're in that much pain and then the relief of not being in that pain anymore, you get this euphoria.
It's a different very trajectory,
like a different pain arch.
I left within 2 hours. And I went home, but my care like continued. Like I was comfy at home, but they came on, checked on me a few hours later and then came back the next morning and gave me lactation advice, gave me help, did newborn checks, did the newborn heel prick, all those things like at home from my couch, which was like really nice.
So nice.
And I feel like they made postpartum like really special. All in all, birth was 10 hours total.
Wow.
10 hours, early labor. Started with water breaking and 3 hours of pushing and everything was great.
The 3 hours of pushing.
Why is birth so hard? Can I just end with that? Like, why? I remember just being like, none of my studies could have prepped me for that. That was so messed up.
Nothing can prep you for it.
My husband is like,
yeah. For weeks
my
after,
God.
They're like, damn.
I like literally love men, but men could never.
No. The population would cease to exist. Yeah.
Also, my midwife, when we had like a birth recap after, she was like, you are the first birth I ever, we like cried with each other. She was like, you're the first birth I've ever attended where when the baby was born, it was complete silence. Wow. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. She was like, because we had kicked everyone out.
Yeah.
And we were all really focused because he was stuck and you weren't really making sounds other than breathing really hard. And I just remember it being so silent, so peaceful. And he was born into such a like peaceful, calm environment. And it's like stuck with me. That was cute.
And cool for her to share that.
Yeah, because like birth stories are really important to me. And even some of the newborn classes that I was teaching this past year, we would start with a circle of birth stories. Yeah. And every single one is different. There's no similar ones. It's really crazy. And I think they all hold like so much information throughout generations. A really fun fact is before my grandma passed, I sat down with her and wrote down her birth story for my mom. This is when I was like really into childbirth education. And I was like, I just feel like it's so cool to know how people enter the world and that it can tell things about their life and like what they want in their life. And like that's so woo-woo, but
period and like how things were at that time in culture and in society. And it tells a lot about like so many different details and so many different aspects of life.
Yeah. And a lot of them are just forgotten and you just become like a piece of paper. And I think it's important for reflection. So
yeah, I love birth stories.
So yeah, thanks for listening to mine.
Thanks for sharing, Tay.
Yeah. Bye guys.
Bye.